Fala, meus amigos! Fala, minhas amigas! Sejam muito bem-vindos e muito bem-vindas a mais uma entrevista do Ibagenscast, uma entrevista especialíssima. Quem fala aqui, como sempre, é o Manu. Antes de eu apresentar os nossos dois convidados, peço para que você se inscreva no canal, ative as notificações, deixe o like, nos siga nas redes sociais. Quem quiser e puder contribuir com o nosso trabalho via Pix, considere se tornar membro do canal. E é uma entrevista internacional, claro que um dos nossos convidados é brasileiro, já é da casa, já esteve aqui uma vez, inclusive, mas a gente tem uma convidada estrangeira, então a gente vai fazer entrevista em inglês. Então eu peço para que você ative as legendas aqui que estão disponíveis no YouTube, beleza? Os nossos convidados são dois vocalistas da banda Ibagenscast, uma banda que tem 25 anos de estrada, fazia um tempo que estava sem lançar nenhum disco de inéditas, mas agora está de volta com o disco Cronos. Eu estou falando dos vocalistas Carlos Zema e Natália Sarsgard. How are you guys?
Amazing. How you doing?
Doing great, better now. How are you doing, Natalia?
I'm fine, thanks. A little bit cold, here. Minus 100 degrees.
Wow.
So I presume you're not in Brazil right now, right?
No, I'm in Finland.
Oh, Finland. Great land. I wish I go to Finland someday. A lot of heavy metal bands.
In summertime, it's better.
Yeah, but the weather is kind of, yeah. You're in Brazil, right, Carlos?
No, I'm actually in Las Vegas right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm in Las Vegas. And
right now.
I know, we were there, man. It was so hot, man. It was so hot. But I mean, it feels good though, Brazilian summer. It's not, it's not that bad. It could be worse.
Yeah.
The summer here in Las Vegas is the worst, man.
Really?
It gets to like over 50 Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That would be quite of a shock if Natalia was there, right? 50.
I know. Yes.
Yeah, because it's a desert, right? So that's why it's so hot.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Different weather. So you guys just released the new album, Chronos. I presume you guys are so happy and proud about the results. So I want you guys to tell everyone that's watching, and if they didn't listen yet to the album, what can they expect from Chronos? First Carlos and then Natalia.
Okay, yes. Well, Chronos is definitely a breakthrough in terms of songwriting as well, right? Because this time we actually wrote the whole entire album based on orchestral arrangement. So basically the whole entire album was actually written with the goal of having all the orchestra and choirs and everything already in there. So it was a different mindset for sure in terms of songwriting. Also, this is the first time that we have recorded with Natália, right? So it was super awesome to have her vocals coming in with all her vocals expertise and everything. Huge range. There was also a moment that the band explored very different, a very huge range of styles, because we went from Celtic folk music into the heaviest thing that Ibagenscast has ever recorded as far as metal. So super heavy in moments, traveling through this huge range of styles and approaches. So basically, to me, I mean, the most, definitely hands down, the most incredible album that Ibagenscast has ever recorded. Also, that was really cool to see. I came in with very different types of vocals, all the way from growls to melodic vocals to throat singing, like that kind of stuff. So like we went through like a very diverse moment. And also Natália can speak a little bit more about her adventures into new types of singing as well, right, Natália?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I would say that Kronos, it's a really beautiful masterpiece, symphonic masterpiece. It includes different genres, different songs and styles, and also topics. So it touched different topics in this album. And when I was recording this album, actually, I was so surprised about my voice, because I couldn't even imagine that I can sing at the same time in different genres and change my voice, change my vocal cords, engage connection. Yeah,
Engage.
so,
Yes.
yeah, and so that was a new experience for me. And now I feel more confident, because I know that I can do it, and that's cool. And yeah, from opera to to more pop, and more, maybe not growling, of course, but not yet. But yeah, more rock, more metal
All right.
style.
So,
Cool.
as you guys said, this album has a large variety of vocals. Uh,
Hmm.
how challenging was it for you guys, to transition between such different aspects of singing, and how did each one of you guys help each other? How much Carlos helped Natalia, and how much Natalia helped Carlos?
Wow.
Actually, yeah, good question. Because thank you. Um, from the first day, I think we had like good energy. And so we understood together, and Carlos is professional, so he knows what to do, and he helped me a lot. Thank you, Carlos.
My pleasure. Likewise. I learned a lot from you as well.
Yeah, and yeah, so maybe you can add something.
Yes.
just just
So
just just just, just a little bit. This is the most important thing. It's not only about having two very good singers. It's about having a good connection between these singers, right?
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And especially when we're harmonizing with somebody, right? So Natalia's technique is undeniably like one of the most amazing, techniques I've ever seen. I mean, she's been all over the world, studied, in Italy, and is in Finland right now, but she's been all over the world. It's like one of the most amazing sopranos I've ever met. So when you're harmonizing somebody and doing recording with a singer with that caliber, you definitely need to be aware of all the nuances and dynamics, right, on that singer. When it's a singer that it's as incredible as Natalia is, following the vibratos in that's those specific parts, and the dynamics, and the ups and downs in dynamics when you're harmonizing somebody. I think it's like very, very, uh particular, right? Very particular, right? And meticulous. And at the same time, I've noticed, when we were there, she was exploring more of her belting voice, and her, other kind of projections that not usually is done in the classical scholarly singing, right, in opera and whatnot. So that was really amazing to see how, you're going to say something. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add. So we recorded the album last summer, right? No, 2 years ago. And actually, at that moment, I was a little bit younger, right? I was feeding my small daughter, and now I can see that my voice changed a lot. So definitely, at this moment, I would record this album totally different. So I would sing a lot of songs differently, and I tried to do it on the concert, and I felt that now it sounds it sounds much better. So I think I found my my sound for that album, for the songs, and now
Cool.
that's
That's cool.
so
Yeah. That's how I felt too. Because like one thing, Manuel, that we we need to mention here is that when Natalia went there to record this album, she had her baby. She just had a baby,
Wow.
so she was like, carrying.
Being a mom and a rock star at the same time, right?
I
yeah.
know, man.
She
So
was
like it
sleeping.
was the most.
She was sleeping in the closest room, like in the nearest studio, and I was recording for 4 or 5 hours. So while she was sleeping, I was recording, and
Wow.
she gave me this, time.
Yeah, so it was incredible to see, man. That was the most metal thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, seriously,
Amazing.
imagine, like, she comes all the way from Finland, all across the world, man, to Los Angeles.
Come on.
And with a baby, you know what I'm saying, like to record an album. And she went there and she absolutely killed it, man. She absolutely like annihilated. And she went there and she sang for like so many hours. Sometimes she was with Mia like on, her lap and singing and and obviously, like, which baby in the planet wouldn't fall asleep with such
Yeah.
angelical voice, right? I would too, man. Oh man, I was sleeping with that voice. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? So she was super pro, man. She went there and she had, like, totally killed it. She went there and delivered like the most amazing vocals with a, brand new baby and everything. So that was the most incredible thing I've ever seen, honestly. And this experience that we exchanged through those recordings was amazing too, because I've never been a guy that went into sing opera, right, in my life. So I had a lot of experience and some tips, of some techniques that Natalia taught me, and it really helped me with my, delivering my vocals and whatnot in certain parts, because I did try to get a little more operatic as per se in terms of, delivering vocal delivery. So in certain parts in Kronos really asked for it, right? There are certain parts, obviously we're playing symphonic metal here, so I needed to get a little bit into the symphony part of it. So not much, because it's not really my expertise, and I really do not wish into adventuring in becoming a baritone right now in my life, you know what I'm saying? So that is not my goal. But that was super awesome to adventure in this new experience, right? So I think Kronos is a very unique, like Natalia said, very unique masterpiece, man. It was like something very incredible, very magical that happened there, working with Roy Z and Adasi, in this production was an insane experience. This is the first time that I because I've worked with Roy Z before in with Immortal Guardian on our second album, but I've never done it with that. Roy Z's never done anything with an orchestra before, right? So there was a new experience for
Oh, it
all of
was the
us.
first time?
Yeah,
Wow.
So so it was, pretty incredible, Yeah.
Nice. So now, Carlos, I want you to take us back in time and tell us, why did the band took so long after Signs album to release new material? If I'm not mistaken, Signs is from 2015. It's
Uh,
almost 10 years, man.
yeah, 8 years, right? Let me just make sure, since we have internet here, give me just 1 second. So if you
Okay.
did your homework, I'll trust you. Yeah. So what happened, right? During this period of time, I was here in the US, and before
Mhm.
Signs, also between Doll and Signs, there was a gap there too, right? So what happened there? Well, I had a moment in time where I really wanted to, you know, adventure into having an international career, right? And at the moment, the guys in the band were forming families. They had other responsibilities. They had great jobs and whatnot. But the only thing I did in my whole life is to progress into my music career. And I had a moment where I felt stuck in Brazil. You know how it is in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
The scene sometimes it has a peak. Like you get you angry, and that's it, right? You can't just go beyond that. And obviously, for any band in the world, if you concentrate only in your country, you have just so much you can do, right? So I really wanted it to have to explore more an international career, and I went, received an invitation from Outworld at the time to join the band with Rusty Cooley, Bobby Williamson, and whatnot. And during that period of time, I did have a lot of, you know, uh, ambition in terms of just going outside of Brazil and seeing what happens. And I really didn't want to leave the band, I really didn't want to leave the band. But at the same time, Heaven's Garden needed to continue the work with Heaven's Gardens. And we had Mario Linhares singing with Heaven's Guardian. I had two of my students that joined the band afterwards, Isaac and Salvaterra, and we had also Flavio. And then they were having a hard time in having a singer that could sing the low stuff and the high stuff at the same time. And because Mario wasn't really a baritone, so he couldn't really hit the really, really low stuff, and he couldn't hit like the more growl, guttural vocals and more aggressive stuff. So the band kind of fell into a place where they needed to have two singers to deliver those vocal lines, which came to the point where Sign was being written at the time. And they invited me at the time to go and record the album and participate in the songwriting at the time. But I was in the middle of a tour, at the time with other projects that I have committed previously. So I couldn't do it. And I felt really, really bad for not participating. That's the only Heaven's Guardian album that I have never been a part of, and but at the same time, for me, it was humanly impossible. You know what I'm saying? So like, we just basically fell into a place where, okay, so this is a new era of Heaven's Guardian right now, because that's when Heaven's Guardian stepped into the symphonic metal vibe, right? So this is like now a symphonic metal vibe. We need to like incorporate like these two different, and I really like the vibe that the band was taken into. I really like the vibe that we had a female singer now, and we had that whole new experience, and it gave a new vibe to the band, a new aspect in terms of music too, because now it's not like that same singer singing the things. You got two singers now, and it's a lot more interesting. And obviously, after Signs, the band went into this hiatus, as per se, if you would, which we didn't have, because then Flavio passed away, right, the singer, and then Olivia, took a different route. So then we were basically like, okay, so let's start like auditions for new singer. And then all of a sudden, Natália showed up, and we were like, oh my God, dude, this is amazing. This is like 20,000 steps up in terms of singers, right? And then we just saw in front of us like a great opportunity as a band to do something that was a lot greater than the band's ever done, which we wanted to prepare something that was very special, right? We wanted to, so we went after all our contacts and tried to elaborate a big piece here, of an album that would actually take the band to the next level in terms of sound, in terms of production, of everything, So this was a more of an ambitious step, and which that's the main reason why it took a little longer for us establish. And you know how it is with in Brazilian, aspect here, in the Brazilian reality.
Absolutely.
With the conversion from reais to dollars.
Oh yeah.
In terms of gear too, like just to acquire the piece of gear that we would need for everybody to be home recording themselves and collaborating towards the album, it was insane, so like for us Brazilians, you know how it is difficult, like to acquire gear to go produce something that is outside Brazil and everything. So for us, it was very difficult to deliver Kronos. So Kronos is not only an amazing, production masterpiece, but also it was very difficult for us to make it happen. So it's a very arduous and difficult work here that has been put into finishing Kronos. So Kronos is very special, not only because of what we're proposing here in terms of music, but also the delivery of this music was very hard. That's the reason why it took so long. But now that we found the formula, though, I mean, we intend to, we have an orchestra that is working with us as part of the band, so they will always be with us on our side. If we need to record another album like next month, they'll be down with it, so which we started already, writing some ideas and whatnot. We're going to start putting it in the table for the next, chapter of Kronos or whatever, so but it's really cool, man. It's totally worth it, the wait. I mean, at least for me, for this time, like you said, yeah, it's 8 years. But man, I remember when Blind Guardian wasn't even touring for how many years, right?
Yeah.
And then when we played together in Via Funchal in São Paulo back in the day with Blind Guardian, it was like insane, man. I saw that place going. You know what I'm saying? But you know how the metal fans are, right? We're so passionate about metal that I think it doesn't matter how many years will be, they'll still be there. They'll still be there, right?
I was in Brazil just once, and it was enough for me to understand that 8 years is not so much, So it can take longer because people in Brazil, they are so slow, and yeah.
But now we're not going to have to wait another 8 years for the next record, right?
No. No, we're definitely working faster on the because Natália was very surprised with the Brazilian time. Like, okay, we'll be there at 2, and then all of a sudden it's 2:30.
I was always precise. Like, if they asked me to wake up at 8 and be there, and at 8:30 I was there. Nobody, everyone was sleeping, and I was just like, "Fuck, what happened?" Why?
Yeah. Okay. So Natália, now please tell us, how did you get to know Heaven's Guardians' work? And how did you join the band?
Yeah, I just got a message by email. So they asked me about the professional. So this is professional invitation to collaborate with them, and I checked those videos from old album, and I saw Carlos and his performance, and I was impressed. And yeah, because he's really professional, a singer, and I was just, wow, okay, cool. I'm interested. I'm in. I would love to join, and that's happened. But after that, I got pregnant, and it's also a little bit, moved the project ahead. So yeah, but I'm happy. I'm very happy that it happened.
Now, I'll make the same question to Carlos. How did you get to know Natália's work? And how was the audition like with her?
Well, basically we had, I was with the boys looking into other videos, other singers. because we've been on the scene in Brazil and in in the world for like so many years, so we get to meet a bunch of singers, right? So I listened to a bunch of them and whatnot, but like when the guy sent me the Natália stuff for me to check it out, I was just completely mind blown, So that was like a huge difference, like compared to other singers. So like there was like a I don't even know how to explain. It's when you listen to a singer and you totally hear that that tone that really, like, it's very captivating, and it's very charismatic and everything. So that tone that it's hard to describe, but when I listened to it, I was like, man, if we have this singer with us, we'll be killing it. So there was like a complete from water to wine difference. So it was amazing. I was very impressed, that's for sure, to say the least. Yeah.
I think the first video I saw of Natalia was very recent. It was a video of her singing Evanescence Lithium, and it's just
Amazing,
incredible,
right?
incredible, incredible.
I know.
It's not easy to sing those Emily vocal lines and sound great, because Emily is great, and
Yeah.
Natalia nailed it. I mean, amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was the writing process for the album like, Carlos? First, then I want to make Natalia a question about it.
hmm Well, because like we were talking about earlier, it was hard to make sure that everybody had the appropriate gear to record themselves from home, right? Because we got keyboard player down in Goiânia, then a guitar player in São Paulo, the other guitar player in Los Angeles, bass player down in California as well. So it was like really hard to get everybody in the same room to actually sit and exchange ideas and whatnot. Which I went through a similar experience when jamming with Immortal Guardian, right? Which we had everybody in a different place. Our drummer is in Montreal, bass player down in Harlingen, Texas, and me and Gabriel at the time. When we were writing, I was down in Brazil and Gabriel was in Las Vegas, but now we are both in Las Vegas. But anyway, same way with Heaven's Garden. But then the guys never done that before, because all the albums with Heaven's Garden, we've always been in the same room, right? So this was the first time. Because of that, we didn't have everybody in the band that could actually record themselves professionally at home and send out the material. So basically, when we met in Hollywood to record, we basically didn't know like all the songs. Natalia did, because she had
No, I didn't.
No,
Not
but
really.
you
I
had
had lyrics. I had lyrics and some demo, but I couldn't even imagine how it will sound.
Exactly. Yeah. Same with me. So when we
We
got
were
there,
improvising.
exactly, we were improvising a lot. Like I got, first of all, for each of the songs, I sat with Everton and with Erickson, and we went through all the lyrics, right? So we changed a lot. There were a lot of like, things that did make sense, but it wouldn't make sense in a native speaking level, right? So we were trying to, because I'm living here in the US for almost 20 years, it was easier for me to just sit down and kind of brush it off. So we changed a lot of things in the lyrics and metrics as well. So we're trying not to commit the prosody mistakes as well, right? Where you go, eternity instead of eternity, that kind of deal. So we worked a lot of prosody errors, and also worked with the metrics and dynamics, and there's so many things to be worked on with the lyrics, right? So we were basically like that. So first song, me and Everton were just coming into other room in the studio, and we'll be sitting there while they will be pulling the instrumental they just recorded with Francis on the drums, and me and Everton will be there going on through the melodies. Okay, so we got to change this in the lyrics. We got to change this. And then it's ready to go. So then we run. Now it's Natalia's turn to record. So she'll get the music scores there with her piano, and she was doing some. Oh, this note here is kind of so let me change this. And so she started to write these melodies with the lyrics that we just corrected, and then she went there and recorded, and then the whole entire time was like that. And in the middle of everything, we were recording videos too, right? So
Oh yeah.
here we are running to the beach, and Natalia had me on it. You know?
Yeah, and also
then,
we had the time zone, and it was difficult to change time zone. But my daughter, she was always sleeping, even in the car or at the beach. And it was quite easy with her. But for me, I couldn't survive without my melatonin tablet, because it's really hard to change your biorhythm, body biorhythm. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your internal clock,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So this kind of answers part of my question to Natalia. I wanted to know, once you joined the band, how involved were you in the songwriting process? Was it with the lyrics? Was it in the arrangements? Only the vocal lines? How much involved?
I think with the vocal lines, not with the lyrics, not much. Yeah, just I was trying to do my best. That's why I was trying to get better solution with the Everton and Carlos, how to sing this, how to sing that, and Adasi also helped me a lot because he's a huge professional. And nothing, but actually I was trying to sing everything that was in the sheet music, and only if something went wrong, or I was like, oh, this is not comfortable, maybe change it, or maybe sing it lower. I was asking. I was like, okay, I will do it, I will try.
Mhm.
All right.
And one thing, I'm sorry, Manuel, but one
Okay.
thing that I think that was very interesting that Natalia came into in this, the writing process, is that there were several songs that Natalia recorded like 3 vocal lines, sometimes like
Yeah,
4.
I
She
like
was
it.
recording. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
like to
she
harmonize. Even when I'm
yeah.
listening to music at home, I like to sing 3 steps lower or higher, and just see how is it. It gets it's funny. I don't know. I enjoy.
Great, great. And this album, it features the Goiás Youth Symphony Orchestra, right? So you said that the songs were written from their arrangements. Was that it?
No, but so most of the songs of this album, because of this distance barrier, and because the guys didn't have a way to record themselves, I had a bunch of songs that I wrote that didn't go into the album. So most of the songs in the album were written either by Everton or Erickson, the two brothers,
All right.
in this album. And this is the first time that it happened like that, because I've been the main songwriter in Heaven's Guardian for the whole entire history of Heaven's Garden with Erickson, right? And then Everton jumped in as an excellent composer. Obviously, we couldn't just, not have him as a composer. So he came in, and we sat down with he sat down with writing his ideas already with the orchestra in mind. So all the arrangements that were already written with the songs were written together. We're talking about over 2,000 pages of music sheet that were written of arrangements. And so the songs were written since the beginning with the orchestration already made, so everything was written. Now, working with any orchestra, you do need to take in consideration the technical aspect of things. Like some orchestras the strings will be very, very skilled, but then the horns are not going to be, you know, that skilled in that sense to do like faster stuff. So all those things are taken in consideration, you know.
I have to leave for 5 minutes just because my kids they just came.
No
Okay.
problem. No problem.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right. So in this case, everything was very meticulously written since the beginning, right? So Everton will go in and, hey, I got this song to the maestro, and this is basically what we got here. Then the maestro will look at the arrangements and say, okay, this is cool and whatnot, but can we change this little part over here? Okay, so he'll come back and then go back there, exchange with the maestro what's going on, you know, like ideas that will be traded back and forth constantly during the writing process, right? So basically it was a lot of work to get, you know, to that level. But also one thing is to be considered is that we also recorded with the youth choir of Goiás, right? So the choir also participated, and we also had a children's choir in a song as a special guest and whatnot. So we involved over, I think, over 140 musicians, you know, to record the album. So it was kind of crazy.
And
Yeah.
you've already had an experience with this orchestra, right?
Yes.
You made some shows with Heaven's Guardian and the Goiás Orchestra. So how were those experiences?
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. We had, this is also the difference, right, between Cronus and whatever we've done previously with the orchestra. Because in Signs, in the album Signs, the songs were actually written not to have an orchestra, but they did have orchestral arrangements. But the old albums of Heaven's Guardian, we had some keyboards throwing some chords there. We didn't have the orchestra arrangements, right? So the orchestral arrangements that were put on the old songs, we've never practiced before with the orchestra. So in 2018, when we did the DVD recording, the show recording with Alírio Neto, with
Wow.
Eduardo Nui, with Confessori on the drums, and we
With the
had that
Brazilian
whole
Dream
thing.
Team.
Right, basically, yeah. And Paulo Baron was the one, actually the manager of the event. He was putting everything together, which was amazing to work with all those guys, obviously, right? Because for me, as growing up, I've known Alírio since I was a little kid, you know, watch him singing and whatnot. So it's very, with Cálice, you know, and Marcelo Barbosa, which also joined us in 2020 when we performed again with the orchestra. Marcelo Barbosa was there playing with us, and which is a great friend of mine as well. So we that experience right there with the orchestra was the first time that Heaven's Guardians ever performed with the orchestra before. And as a matter of fact, it was the first time that a metal band with original music has ever performed with an orchestra live with a full symphonic orchestra in history of Latin America, right? So that was the first time that it's ever been done, right? Angra didn't do it till then, Edu Falati nor Sepultura, not with the whole symphonic orchestra, right? And choir. So that was the first time in history of Latin America which we got to write this history as Brazilian metal band, right? A Brazilian metal band, which was great for, you know, to be a part of that. But that experience right there, undeniably, like the most incredible experience that, you know, we've ever had. And that feeling that we had performing together, with feeling that the bass and the cellos coming in as you're right in front of them, man, that was great. So after that, we decided we want to be a symphonic metal band, like the first in history, you know, symphonic metal band. Because you do have a symphonic orchestra with the band, you know. So in reality, this was the first time that a band would play symphonic metal with a symphony. You know what I'm saying? So like this is something that we really wanted to do, and from now on, Heaven's Garden is basically this symphonic huge thing, you know, and where we're going to be working on towards to make sure that we deliver every time.
And I believe it must make you even more proud when I tell you that when we think about great productions in Brazil, it is hard to talk about great productions in Brazil about heavy metal. But when
Yeah,
you talk about the little ones that we have, the few ones that we have, they're all from Sao Paulo
yeah.
bands. And you must be very proud to see that a show like that with an orchestra was done with a band from Goiás, right?
I know, man. And also, you know how it is, right? We come from a very simple background, right? Very simple, not very traditional for metal, not very
Absolutely.
traditional for, right, for classical music even. But back in 2018, we had only two orchestras down in Goiás. And after we did that, the orchestras started to appear out of nowhere. Now we have
Yeah.
12.
Wow.
See what I mean? So like we also are not only contributing to the future of Brazilian metal and trying to do something that is bigger, that will be a reference for the world, but we also did something here that it's fomenting the scene in Goiás to the point that now it's a pull for classical music, you know? So now you have kids participating in these projects that they get a salary to go there and play, and these kids are traveling all over the world playing with the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. They're playing with all over the world with side by side with musicians that are like considered the top-notch musicians in the world. You know, so for us to be a part of something that gave birth to so many musicians that now are going to have the opportunity to have music for as a living, you know, because these kids, these violinists, these cellists, this all these kids, they are actually getting paid to go there and be the best musicians that they can be, you know. So for us, man, it's there's a very special place in our hearts, you know, for that to see, you know, all these orchestras being born out of, you know, this first idea of Heaven's Guardian, you know, of like joining the rock and the classical, you know. You see orchestras performing in Goiás nowadays playing Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
ACDC,
It's
you
your
know.
fault.
It's our fault. So this is really cool, man, to to see that, because you know how it is, man. You know, you leave Brazil, man, but Brazil never leave your heart. You know what I'm saying? You always be Brazilian no matter what. So to me, everywhere I can go and spread, you know, and give opportunity to this what they consider the third world country, right? To me, I don't see it that way, man. We have so many talented musicians in
Wow.
Brazil, you know, and
Yeah.
all they need is just a little bit of opportunity, man, to just break through and show the world that they can do it, you know. And this is most of it too, you know. Like I for Natalia, same thing, you know. She's gone through several very hardship moments, you know, throughout her life to be in music, to dedicate to music. So she knows what it is to like to fight for your music and everything, you know. It's hard, you know, it's hard. Not only in Brazil, but I feel like in Brazil it's a little harder, you know, because we got to fight to survive, we got to fight to conquer our space. And if you are outside of Rio and São Paulo, it makes it even harder, you know.
Oh man.
So yeah, and so I feel that a lot, man, in my heart, and I never want to give up. You know, I always want to try to help somehow, because I am here today, conquering my little space here and there because somebody helped me. You know, and this is how it's gonna be, man. We got to give it back. You know. Yeah.
Great, man. Great answer.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, Natalia, can you tell us a little bit about your musical journey? Now, how did you start to sing? How do you get involved with music, and especially with heavy metal? Not too hard, in Finland, right?
Yeah. So I was singing since I was a kid in some kids choirs. Then I studied in musical college in Russia. After that, I moved to Italy for 5 years. I was studying in Milan Conservatory and graduated as an opera singer. After that, I moved to Finland. I got married, and I had like 5 years period when I was trying to do something in my life. I did this YouTube channel, and only after that, actually, I got a lot of invitations for performances, for to like perform on private events or perform on different concerts. That's it. I just decided to share my talent, my voice with other people, with the audience, and get fun. Yeah. So, and somehow I'm trying to combine it with my motherhood and with this home routine, and
How
just
hard is it?
oh yeah, that's hard. But the thoughts about my future and about that can happen in with me in the future. They gave me energy and the motivation to survive and fight, and uh, just be better and do all my best. Yeah. So after this concert in Brazil, I just realized that this is my place. I mean, the stage. I have to be there. I have to sing, not only on the YouTube and in offline. Yeah, but it might be real. So yeah. And thank you, Brazilian audience, Brazilian people, for for um, for everything. And because Brazilians, they are so close to Russians. I think they're so close to my mentally and my spirit, and I felt a lot of inspiration when I was there, and so many warm words I got from people. So yeah, I would say it never happened in Finland because they're so cold here, and I missed a lot. I missed a lot that things.
Yeah, you guys had a great debut show in Goiânia. I want to know from Carlos and from Natalia, what was the experience like? But especially from Natalia, what did you think of Brazil? Was it hard to adapt with the weather and with the people? And what do you think of the country?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a huge country, a lot of people. But as I told you, Brazilians are very close to my mentally, and the weather was not hot. It was it was very comfortable for me. Yeah, it's like a dream, from the snow go to another world where you can eat papaya, goyava,
Oh yeah.
enjoy this warm days there, and do what you like, what you can do the best, and um, communicate with other professional musicians. Just yeah, it's a dream.
So how was it like, Carlos? The debut
It
show.
was a, it was amazing, man. After the show, especially in Guyana, I really like to after the show, just right when we finish, I usually run to the main hall of the theater, and
Oh yeah.
just stay there with the families and the people and take pictures and whatnot. So I looked at that title, I was like, "Yo, you want to go see something real quick?" So I grabbed her hand. I was like, "Come here, check it out." So I dragged her over there, man, to the front, and we had lines and lines of people for like 2 hours, man. We were there like, you know I saw three generations, of people there that have seen Heaven's Garden in the first show, and they were there. Like there was like grandpa, the father, and the son, and their daughters and whatnot. And so we had lots of kids in the theater that was their first metal show, you know. And to see that they will come with the Heaven's Garden beat up shirt from like 25 years ago. You would not believe, man. You would see that shirt and it's like it's about to fall off, you know. And you see them there, man. That was just amazing, you know. Like it's so much love, man. A lot of people drove from Teresina, Piauí.
Wow.
People drove from São Paulo, from Rio, from Brasilia to be there in that show, you know. And I saw people from all over Brazil, and like, man, I remember that face. I remember that guy from somewhere. And then he's like, yeah, man, I'm from Teresina. And I'm like, what? It's like a 3-day drive, you know, to be there. And like, it's crazy, man. So like, for me to see that, Natália was like, she couldn't even grasp the fact, right? Because she's like, where's Teresina, or, you know, right? But if I would just stop and tell her, she would be like, what? These people are crazy. But this is what Brazil is, right? Brazil, it's about passion. It's just like Russia, because I toured in Russia before, and I know how it is, man. People over there, they go nuts, you know, they're singing like every song, and you see the walls of death coming in, like, boom, it's just insane, right? So Brazil is like that too. We're very passionate about what we love, right? So we drive ourselves into the wall, you know, just to see that, you know, to make sure that we get it all out of our systems. And that's how it was, man. People are going crazy. People are crying during the show, and you see like people very like emotional. And it's an experience like no other, man. It's just amazing. Yeah.
So and now the band has plans to do more shows. If so, how can you guys manage to get everyone together to do more touring?
Yeah, so the plan is to do another run in June, right? So so far we have contacts for Brasília, Goiânia, São Paulo, Rio, Curitiba, and we're working with getting Palmas as well. So it is gonna be the same way, man. We're gonna fly in, have like a couple of practices, and slam it. You know, we practice maybe like once or twice with the orchestra, and our practice with the orchestra is almost didn't even like really sing there. It's just like, okay, let's this part over here on compass number 151. Let's do this, and everybody stands there. All right, dun, 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 dun. All right, stop. Now let's practice this part now, this trend. So it's very different than practicing with a band. So it's very objective, but we just need to trust that everybody did their homework, right? And this is what the day of modern music. We just got to trust that every one of us will be professional enough to have everything ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's going to sit there and wait till you learn that little part. You got to know it, you know? So this trust is what we basically, you know, we expect from each one of us. Yeah.
And Natalia, how excited are you to go back to stage and do more shows?
Oh, I'm very excited, actually. Yeah, because as I told you, I understood that stage is my passion, and I have to be there, and I just cannot wait, you know, to go back and kill it.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Heaven's Guardian has been around for kind of 25 years. Is it difficult to make a set list? And how much of the Chronos album will we listen in the future concerts?
Well, this debut album, for example, debut show, we did the whole entire album, and we played a few of the old songs, right? So yes, and Fan of the Opera, and then, so we the goal is to have the whole entire album played live for the next show. We might include more songs. We had a total of more or less like 2-hour set. So we're gonna increase probably a few more songs and go a little over. But the Kronos on itself, it's gonna be played in its integrity for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And well, I know that you just released Kronos, but I want to know, you just said that you already have some new ideas. What can you tell us about these new ideas? You said also that you have so many songs of yours that you couldn't release in this album. So how much of material do you have to write a new album if you want to do it right now?
Well, right now I got about 30 songs. So we could release 3
Three
albums,
albums. Yeah.
but it's it's going to be a matter of sitting down with everybody, right? Because we want to listen to what the boys got as far as idea, Natalia's ideas, so it's like we're going to be, we're going to sit down. This is going to be a very different process for this next album, because now everybody kind of learned how to do it by themselves at home, and the ones that have not yet, they will by June for sure. We will be able to just record ourselves and whatnot, which, yes, for the scholar musicians such as Everton, Natalia, Erickson, everybody that can just write the music sheet and whatnot, it's a little bit different approach than it is for us to just lay the tracks down and put it together and listen to it, right? Because I believe that this process is a little bit more meticulous than it is into just writing the music sheet, right? So basically this process is going to take a little longer, but we just released an album now, right? So we have so much work to do on the marketing aspect of things, distribution, and things to do. And unfortunately, because we are an independent band, we have an European label now, but we're going after Asian markets. We were just talking about that earlier, talking about a bunch of other markets that we haven't explored yet. So this is somewhat of the focus right now, right? But what I can tell you about the new songs, if you thought that Kronos was like a different album, you're going to be surprised with the next one, man, because we want to take the surprise to a whole nother level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, I think this is it. And to finish, I want you guys to tell us what the fans that are watching this interview can expect. First from Carlos Zema, and obviously from Heaven's Guardian in the near future.
Well, expect that we're going to take this to the next level, man. Go big or go home. So this is, we're working really hard to, to get this project into new horizons. So expect something big, man. We're coming in hot.
Great. And Natalia, I know you're very committed to the motherhood, but heavy metal needs you to kill it. So what can we expect from Natalia in the near future?
Well, I'll do my best for sure. I will help guys if they need my help, and I'm just trying to be super cool, and share it.
All right. So I'm gonna finish in Portuguese, okay?
Ok.
Pessoal, essa foi a nossa entrevista com a Heaven's Guardian, os vocalistas Carlos Zema e Natália Sarsgard. Espero que vocês tenham curtido. Se vocês gostaram, deixem um like no vídeo. Não se esqueçam de se inscrever no canal, ativar as notificações. Nos sigam nas redes sociais. Quem quiser e puder contribuir com o nosso trabalho via Pix, considere se tornar membro do canal e vá conferir o Kronos da Heaven's Guardian, que ela já está em todas as plataformas digitais. Ouvir é de graça, gente. Vai lá e escuta, aproveita que eles estão disponibilizando música boa e música muito bem produzida, com orquestra, para que você possa apreciar. Vai lá e aprecia. E se você gostar, vai lá nas redes sociais da Heaven's Guardian, do Carlos, da Natália, para conferir o trabalho deles, beleza? Aguarde as nossas próximas entrevistas e é isso aí. Falou!
Valeu, Manu!